We'll be starting with the worrying news, actually, that Britney Spears, who's making the headlines today, you might have seen it, following her arrest in California on suspicion of driving under the influence. Britney's manager has called the arrest inexcusable, indicating that this should mark a long overdue change in the singer's life, adding, hopefully she can get the support and help that she needs during this difficult time. And on Good Morning Britain earlier, Britney's former assistant and friend, Sean Phillips, had this to say.
It's not her character, and she's just a lovely, lovely, lovely person. And for knowing her for almost 24 years, I will protect her no matter what, because she's not a harmful person.
That's quite a touching statement, actually. I mean, it does seem that, you know, he feels he knows the real person and that's not the person that the world is seeing. But I can't imagine anyone shocked by this news, Jane.
No, I mean, we've kind of been here before with Britney. You know, there have been a couple of sort of public incidents over the years, and then obviously one of them led to the very controversial conservatorship which her parents had over her financial affairs, not to mention her personal life. And then, of course, a lot of her fans started to say, #free Britney. They felt it was too restrictive. And that was 4 years ago. It was removed. And sort of since then, I mean, she does a lot of posting online from inside her house. And I suppose if you look at it a lot, you would go, you've started to see her become a little bit more troubled, for want of a better word. And for her representatives to make a statement that strong, which is, you know, we hope this is going to be the change that's needed, suggests to me that a lot of people around her that care for her are seeing this as a reset and maybe an opportunity to step in again and help her, but maybe not as restrictively as before.
The thing is, she's two things, Britney, isn't she? She's a person. And she's a person who I think you're not going too far out the box to say who is experiencing real stress and distress at the moment. But she is also public property.
She hasn't had the luxury of you know, having the privacy and having a recovery that's more anonymous. I mean, I think it's incredibly sad. But I will say, you know, not just Britney, but for everybody, rock bottom isn't necessarily the bad place that everyone thinks it is. It's actually quite a transformational place. And particularly, you know, we see when people get arrested or if they're engaging in any kind of services, maybe not voluntarily, is when they can turn their lives around and rehabilitate. And actually have the most sort of stable and consistent time in their life they've ever had. So this could be the making of her.
Well, yeah, and one's got to hope that that's the case. But as you say, you know, the privacy is not there. And everyone's got an opinion on Britney. I mean, the Free Britney, as you say, was a big... I mean, you were saying, Grace, that you were a huge Britney fan and you got behind that Free Britney.
Yeah, I was fully...
Is it all your fault?
It's actually all my fault, yeah. I was fully behind it. But I think sometimes when you've been maybe controlled like that for so long and you finally do get a bit of freedom, there is that sense of you don't have moderation because you've never had an opportunity to be free. And I think maybe that could be what's happened. But I think it's just really sad. And I think it's also tougher when you're in the public eye and everyone's got an opinion on what you're doing or, you know, how you feel. So I think it's really sad.
But also, of course, she is putting it out there.
Yeah.
So she's sort of... When you're doing the videos, you're inviting comments,
is she well enough
you?
to consent?
I was going to say, does she know what she's posting?
I mean,
seems a bit...
I think the good thing out of it, because there's been lots of stories over the years that she's been a bit estranged from her sons, and then they're back, and then they're not, and da-da-da-da. And they've sort of said a few comments about it. And what I'm noticing in this, if it's true, is that her parents and her sons are both saying, we are there for her. And so if it does prove to be the reset, that is going to be crucial, I think.
I mean, I was going to say, Katie, taking it away from Britney, and it's interesting what you say about that reaching rock bottom. You know, many of us will have experiences of troubles in our own life or indeed, you know, wanting to be there for a troubled friend. What can you do? I mean, as a friend, and the people around Britney will be wondering what can they do Do you have to let them reach rock bottom? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't want to speculate around Britney. So,
no, that's what I'm saying. Make it more general.
I just think for anybody, if they were in addiction specifically, I don't believe you can step in, because people have to, you know, find recovery themselves and truly want it and have enough relapses to finally say that. But I think you can not be an enabler. You know,
and what does that mean?
Well, it's a bit people-pleasing, isn't it? Telling people their behaviour's okay, telling them it's normal, joining in with them and doing the very thing that they're addicted to and is destroying their life. So you can definitely be an honest friend and have a bit of tough love with people.
So if you, and again, this is purely hypothetical, but let's say you had a friend who you believed their behaviour was erratic, concerning or whatever. What, would you speak to them about it?
Yeah, I think it's a case-by-case basis. It would be a sensitive subject that you'd have to think, you know, long and hard about. But I wouldn't normalise someone's behaviour if it was damaging them. And particularly if they asked me my opinion, you know, you go on a night out with someone and they might ring you the next day paranoid and hungover. And if it hadn't been normal, I would say. And then you leave that in that person's hands to decide, I'm actually going to action this and do something about it.
I've interviewed loads of people who've been involved in interventions with people, and one of the key things is it's like if you're the friend of somebody and you're an isolated person sort of saying, look, you know, I'm worried about you, this isn't good enough, you know, da-da-da-da, it doesn't really have an impact because they've got other places to go. And the beauty of an intervention is that you get as many important people as possible there. Right. You know, children maybe, and parents and whatever.
So is that how that works? I mean, I've heard that word.
Yeah, and then it's not like a shouty thing. It's like the car is outside to take you somewhere to get you help.
So it's immediate.
And if you don't get in that car, we're done. And everybody in the room has to go, we're all done. Because the person, the addict, has to look and think, everybody I know and love here is... It's not just one person saying this to me, it's everybody in my immediate...
It has to be a group, yeah. That's quite powerful, I'd imagine.
I think a lot of the time as well, when you're going through it, you don't realise how it's impacting other people around you until everyone's there going, we literally can't deal with this anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I hadn't realised, when I've heard that word intervention, but I've never actually had it formalised like that. Right, yeah.
Because... But they do it here as well.
Yeah. But as you say, Katie, people will often seek out somebody who will... I'll go for a drink with you, or I'll do it with you, whatever. Whereas if all of those avenues are blocked off and you've got everyone meaningful in your life standing saying, this is it, then that's really up in the ante, isn't it? Well, obviously, you know, anyone with a heart has got to wish that Britney, you know, manages to get herself on a more stable footing and moves forward for her own sake and her family's sake.